Twitter world, is me, yours truly. Now, today I wanted to go over the GMR Goalie Bag. So, this might be GMR's most useful bag. Now, the reason that I say that is because every time that I see a GMR mini map or mini mag out in the wild, I usually ask, what do they have inside of it? And they usually don't have much of anything at all, or anything that they're using. They'll usually just put things inside there to make it look a bit more plump and a bit more attractive instead of all flat and kind of ran through. And so seeing this bag and using this bag a couple of times, actually, even off the field, going out of town, is still very useful. And I have to say, this is pure utility, honestly. So every time you see this bag, it's being used. So what does this bag do? And I'm going to go into it later of how it does it. So this bag holds your guns and it holds your entire kit. You will usually not find yourself holding extra bags on the side with this on your back with extra gear inside of it. It's usually all inside of here. So let's go over the first part, the caddy. So the caddy here, if I can remember where I zipped it at, here it is. The caddy here is a little bit smaller than like your standard Pelican or hard case that you'd find at Harbor Freight, which is a bit of a double-edged sword because it's pretty low profile. It's like, not that obnoxiously large on your back, but that also means that you're probably gonna have to take like your suppressors off. You're probably gonna take like lasers off because like the guns are probably gonna have to sit side by side. You can't really have the luxury of having your mags inside of there. You just kind of have to take that out and put it in here. You can't even put it in here. You can't really put much of anything else other than your guns in here because it's just so cramped. It's like half, like most of my hand right here is fitting in here, and that's about it. Unless you can kind of stretch it out a little bit more. But that being said, as you can see here, there's like laser engraved MOLLE webbing, and it does confuse me as to like, why is there MOLLE webbing inside of that? Like, what am I going to be shoving in there if only my guns can fit in there? I have seen one of my friends attempt to use like the Velcro like lining to like put like bangers and like other things and like Hellstars inside of there, and they could not shut the bag because it was just too big. So honestly, like the only thing that you could put in there is patches like I have right here and your guns. A little fun fact here, these little holes, this little like clover 4-hole thing is meant so that you can put like gun locks inside of here so you can take this on an airplane and kind of keep it kind of safe. Another thing I wanted to show before we move on is that you can actually replace the inserts inside of your bag. So in case like one day the styrofoam inside here kind of goes soft and floppy, you can put like other types of styrofoam, maybe even like wood, if you're really that crazy about it. But let me close this up. And now let's talk about the main compartment. Now this is where your back would be facing, and this is also where the main compartment is. The main compartment lines this entire like zipper line, and it's funny because like whenever I see like large bags or any backpack at all, the zipper would be like kind of right here or kind of like right here. I've never seen a bag where the zipper is facing towards your back. So that's a pretty cool thing right off the bat, kind of. Let me explain why. I say kind of because it doesn't really like, this whole compartment doesn't really show the entirety of the caddy. You see how I'm shoving my arm up here to like kind of go further than this thing's really expanding. But it's not really too small, which is the big part of the kind of, because The only thing that I've ever had trouble shoving in here is like manlets and like probably a guy who is 6 foot and none of which could fit inside of here. And so, I mean, everything else that I've ever tried to shove in here went in there successfully. I put in my gas mask, I put in my plate carrier, I put in my helmet, I put in an ammo can, I put in batteries, bangers, clangers, all sorts of shit. Like, you can shove a lot of shit inside of this. Granted, you're gonna have to carry it all on your shoulders, but I mean, you can shove like a lot of shit. Like my friend had multiple plate carriers inside of this one time. I don't know why he did that. I just agreed and just let him explain his logic behind it. But anyways, oh wait, hold on. Before we move on, there is one thing I did want to mention. The Molly. This is the biggest Molly that I have ever seen in my entire life. Look how big this Molly is. Like I can understand why it's not all Velcro lined because this bag is huge and it probably costs a lot. But this is Velcro lined, and I have here a Gen 3 mini map. So what I use this for is to shove like things that I don't want squished inside of here, like batteries or like smaller items that might get lost, like tools and bangers and the things that fuel the bangers. So, you know, it's pretty cool that this is here to kind of keep everything away. I even carry like little identification lights like V lights and like health stars. So, alright, now we can finally close this little compartment here. And let's talk about another cool feature, the diamond bungee. Now you might be thinking, well, this is completely aesthetic, you know, but I have seen people shove like their entire helmet inside of here, and they've had like attachments like the Naruto's, like MVG mount or maybe like the LG4 mount, and had it like snag onto another part. Or like they undid the nylon here and they tightened it even tighter to kind of really pin this helmet on here. I've seen them like really secure that helmet down to the point where it's just like they could shake it and that thing would just not move. So it's pretty cool to see like something like this to actually have like a no shit practical purpose, because on a lot of backpacks I see, I always see like nylon bungee cords or like that weird like mesh retractable net shit that's supposed to carry a water bottle. Like, it never carries a water bottle really well. People always lose their hydro flask. Like, to me it's just a waste of material, but to see this actually like being useful is a pretty big shock to me, honestly. So let's talk about more details of this bag here. The little like backpack straps here are actually like quick detachable. So if you undo the little buckle right there, the little like pop pearl thing, and you pull it down, you can actually detach the rest of your backpack. What are these called? Little straps here. So say like you don't have the strength to kind of lift this up and put it on your shoulder, you just prop this up on a table, go under here, and insert it in, and now you can pull it up. Now you might be thinking, with how easily I disengaged it, that this would probably pop off pretty easily with like just how much weight is going to be loaded inside of here. No, I've never had that problem. I've had this thing completely loaded with all of my kit, and it never came off. Even with this, like, even with the snapping pearl, like, disengaged, like, it still never came off. As long as you just don't hit it, you should be fine. And, so, I mean, both of them do that. Just an FYI here. Just in case you thought only the right side did it. No, both of them do. The Velcro here, now this is a first time kind of a feature for GMR bags. Now you might be saying, no it isn't, because if you look here on the mini mag does have a Velcro feature. Now what I'm saying is that the Velcro It's usually facing outwards on your back or on your front, depending on how you have your plate carrier set up or how you have it set up at all. This has the Velcro facing in towards your back. It doesn't have the Velcro on the back here. It doesn't have really anything on the back here. And so at first I was like, why would they do that? Like, that's weird. But then I was thinking of it more of a modular assault pack. And it's like, oh, this isn't a modular assault pack. It's really telling me it's not, because the identification patches are only visible when it's laying down. This thing is really only useful when it's like not on you. Well, that's how I'm trying to say. But it's even further reinforced by the fact that the little like carry straps here are kind of right on the back of it. It's like really telling you, like, listen, man, this isn't, you're not going to go raiding with this on. This is purely to be left back at like the base or like at the reloading station, whichever you do, in case you don't like to go to public fields. And one more thing I wanted to add. Now this might sound a bit like bitter, or however I'm trying to say. I've recorded this video a couple times. I've never liked the way that I've said this, but I feel like it needs to be said. So, you see here that the zippers have like these holes right there, right? So, when I noticed that when I go to public fields, that refs have this sort of idea stuck in their head that they can just look through your shit. As long as it's not inside your car, as long as it's on a table, they can look inside of your stuff. They think that they can do that, and it's really weird. I've been to a game, and I have had my friend's stuff and my stuff looked through, but they actually went and took some of his stuff, and they took his BBs, and they thought the BBs were too heavy. They really weren't. It was just the bottle that he had. The BBs were just like really heavy. And it really, really bugged me, because at that same field I had gotten like a $70 Blue Link stolen, and I'm starting to think it's not the players that I should be watching after, it's probably the refs. And so because this bag can fit every single part of your kit inside of it that you're not actively wearing, it's really smart to buy some little locks, you know. Now this might be like a little pussy lock. I mean, I didn't really buy the most expensive lock, but I mean, you really think that like some dude getting paid minimum wage whose like sole income is like being a ref at an airsoft field is gonna know how to pick your locks? Like, come on. So you just kind of lock it up. I would not suggest getting a combination lock, because like you can like bust through this pretty easily just by cycling through the combination. It's not like a phone where it's gonna lock you out if you just keep doing it. So you see, like, just that is enough to deter people from getting inside of your shit. And like, honestly, it's a really good peace of mind knowing that that when I'm out and I'm not watching my stuff actively, like say I go to lunch or say I'm in game, it really gives me peace of mind knowing that people aren't going to be looking through my stuff, even if they aren't intending to steal anything. So honestly, I really like this bag for that reason. Anyways, I have nothing else to say about this bag. I've just been like making shit up this whole time, and I don't know. You guys have a nice one. Just buy the bag yourself. It only costs $600.